Hello, good people. Thank you for tuning in. It's brought to my attention that there's now a video on YouTube titled "Zachary K. Hubbard is a Shill," and I'm finding this interesting because really, people, I'm just anybody else. I'm just a working, tax-paying, ordinary citizen, and I guess maybe the difference about me is when I was 18 years old. I turned 18 July 21st, 2001. Just barely the pre 9/11 era. So I got to be 18 for about a month and a half, and then September 11th, 2001 happened. For me, that was my second week of college at Arizona State University, where I was attending out of state. I was there for the accounting program during the whole Enron scandal, so that was also interesting. Come to find out years later, I see how my university, ASU, aka 113 in Gematria, which I teach, located on the 33rd parallel, is involved in part of this conspiracy that I'm revealing, which I think many of the nation's educational institutions are, but including Arizona State. In the case of Arizona State, it is the nest of Lucy, once purported to be sort of the missing link for humanity. And when you think about the name Lucy, and letters to numbers, L, U, and C all become 3 because L is the 12th letter, 1 plus 2 is 3, U is the 21st, 2 plus 1 is 3, and of course C is the 3rd letter. So the name Lucy and letters to numbers could be 3, 3, 3, 7. Y is the 25th, 2 plus 5 becomes 7. Anyway, I'm just telling you guys a little bit about myself. I went to Arizona State, class of 2001 high school, graduated from Arizona State in 2005. And all this time since September 11th, I've just been coming to better understand the world I live in, and honestly how much I've been lied to through all the years. As a kid, I had an inquisitive mind. I asked a lot of questions in class. I probably annoyed a lot of my peers sometimes. I apologize, people. But I just asked a lot of questions, and sometimes you got to ask questions to find the right answers. And with September 11th, believe me, I've always had a lot of questions. It's looked like a demolition since day one. And to go back in time, I remember being a senior in high school and taking a civics class and running up to the election of Gore versus Bush. Our teacher was presenting in the newspaper, reading from the paper each day. And the week before the election for Gore versus Bush, it was said it was going to come down to Florida. And I asked at the time how the paper could know a week in advance that it was going to come down to one state. To me, that seemed absurd. I mean, if they knew a week in advance that the whole election was going to come down to one state, then really what was even the point of voting? It seemed nonsensical to me. If the whole game was that well known from polling, then why even vote? You know what I mean? And I think we all found out in that election why even vote, because as we all saw, it went down pretty strange. George W. Bush, by the way, was born July 6, 1946. On this blog, I talk a lot about Freemasonry, the number 33, Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, and numerology. The birthday, July 6, 1946, forms a life number of 33. You get that by adding 7 plus 6 for July 6, plus 1 plus 9 plus 4 plus 6 for the year 1946, which sums to 33. The president before Bush was Bill Clinton, whose father was murdered May 17th, 1946, not long before George W. Bush was born. The date of May 17th, 1946 sums to 33 the same way, and the name Clinton, which Bill Clinton took on later in life because he was born Bill Blythe, his biological father was William Blythe Sr., changed the name to Bill Clinton. The name Clinton in Gematria sums to 33. Clintons were the original governors of New York. New York was established on the 33rd day of the year, February 2nd, as New Amsterdam. So, anyhow, I've been studying this Gematria. I've been learning about these numbers, and the more I've learned, the better I've understood the world I live in. Our history is much clearer. I've come to understand that these numbers are very significant to our real rulers. And to take you back in time, 5 years ago, I was the type of person where if somebody was telling me about the Illuminati, I was a major skeptic. I never dismiss anything, but it didn't seem likely. To me, 5 years ago, I thought what had happened in the world is just over time, greed had conquered and corporations had become too big and things were just madness. But my understanding of history was not what it was back then. I've grown a lot as a person in the last 5 years. I've done a lot of research. I've tried to get these questions answered. And what I have found is this numeric code, Gematria. And if you watch my other posts, I feel like you'll learn a lot and you will see just how well this connects, how much sense it makes, and how useful it is to yourself. In the time I've been studying this, I've had some weird personal things happen in my life. This past April 7th, I had two girls text me out of the blue, right? I mean out of the blue. I hadn't seen either of these girls in the last year and a half. I dated them both just briefly. Just briefly. They both texted me this April 7th, 4-7, which is one of these important numbers I write about, 33, 47, 74. So anyway, learning about these numbers at the time, I decided to do the gematria of their names just to see what came up. One of their names was 47. Would you believe what the other name was? It was 74, the reverse of 47. I couldn't believe it. And after that happened, it just made me go do a little bit more soul searching, and I went out and I think did a web search maybe on relationships and numerology and just looking for something. I found this website out there called the Accidental Numerologist, and it's a gentleman a lot older than myself who I think discovered numerology maybe sometime around my age or a little bit older than me, but now he's been living within it for 20 years, so he's been researching it extensively. I've only been researching this since really October of 2013, so not even that long ago. This is only the product of 9 or so months of research, and even it took a few months after that until to connect the gematria thing. But anyway, this guy's been researching it for 20 years, and he's been writing about it, and what he believes is that all relationships, whether we realize it or not, are connected by these numbers that are formed from the dates we're born on, our names. It ties in with astrology. There's a definite relationship between numerology and astrology. Just a real quick connection I'll kind of show you from the benefits of my research. I would have never been able to tell you this a year ago. But let's look at the sign Sagittarius in numerology and astrology. It begins November 22nd, a date that sums to 33, 11 plus 22. Of course, JFK was assassinated that day. It runs through the span of December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, also the date Delaware was established, the first date, December 7th, 1787. If you sum December 7th, 1787, it sums to 33, just like the name Delaware, the first state. Only 3 states have a 33 gematria. Delaware, the first state, the 50th and final state, Hawaii, and the 6th state, Massachusetts. This stuff just goes on and on, you guys. The flag was established June 14th, 1777, sums to 33. It's true for other European nations. Germany got a new flag after the war, established on a 33 date. The word Holocaust equals 33. This stuff's huge, you guys. It's gigantic. I'm not out here to mislead you. I'm trying to present to you real research, real knowledge that I believe is truth. You're welcome to discredit it. You're welcome to dismiss it. You're welcome to do whatever you want with it. I don't want to control your mind. I don't want to mislead you. But what bothers me is what I'm finding out is just, I can't believe, it seems like people are posting on my blog right now that seem like paid agents. They have names such as Gematria with a number after it. They have weird cryptic videos. Somebody's made a video saying that I am a shill. The video is titled, Zachary K. Hubbard is a shill. A shill for what? What I'm advocating for is that us people, we're all in this together, and we need to come together and recognize that. Freemasons believe in conquering people through duality, and the people who are dismissing me are getting upset because I'm saying these gun hoaxes aren't about coming for your guns. Because there's a lot of people out there with that message. These gun hoaxes are about coming for your guns. I do not believe that. Does that mean I'm correct? I shouldn't even use the word believe. I don't think that, I should say. I don't think they're really coming for your guns. Why? Because they make a lot of money selling you guns, and a big part of this is about making money and staying in power. Plus, many of the gun manufacturers have 33 names themselves, such as Ruger. So, and NRA is 14 plus 18 plus 1. It sums to 33, just like NAME, NAME, 14 plus 1 plus 13 plus 5. You know? So I'm just out here trying to say, you guys, see how we're all being manipulated, see who's behind this, see how it's organized, see how it's waged, and in that, I'm hoping we can stop it. Thank you. Encore. So recently in my life, I met this handsome gentleman right here. I'm not going to give out his name to respect his privacy. But he authored this book, and the way we met is we were in a parking lot, and his truck was buried with, anti-Obama stickers, F Obama, Barack. Oh, I think it said like Obama been hiding, just all sorts of anti-Obama stuff, anti-Obama insults, and I saw him and I thought, I think I want to approach this gentleman and just let him know what I've learned about this gematria and see what he thinks about it. So I shared with him how I thought Obama was really part of this ongoing thing, and I showed him how the conspiracy went. I showed him George W. Bush's birthday, the Clinton thing, and a light bulb went off in his head, and he said, man, I'm really glad you came over here and told me that. He said, he didn't get angry about it. He didn't say I was crazy. And instead, he gave me a book. And, all he asked of me is, he said, I'm going to do more research on this. He said, maybe I got it wrong. But he said, I don't want you to forget this. He said, I want you to remember, never trust a liberal. And you know what I told him? I said, you know what, man? I used to identify as liberal. I even have a blog. You guys can go look it up, my old blog that I wrote back in 2008 before Obama became president. It's called Liberal Instincts. .blogspot.com, and back then I didn't really identify with the consensus liberals. I felt like liberalism was about being open-minded and original and truthful, and anyway, I don't see much of that in liberalism in this country, so I've kind of gone away from the word myself, and I just say, I'm an honest person. I'm out for the truth and justice and things that are right, and it's as simple as that to me, so that's what I'm about. If you guys think I'm a shill, whatever, but it's not true, I just want to share some knowledge with you guys, and I hope you appreciate it. I know a lot of you do. I'm going to keep it coming. Spread the word if you can. We're only gonna stop this in massive numbers, so you guys got to spread the word. Thank you.